Okay, so I definitely think it's fair to say that I am perturbed at what I just saw when rookie Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez allegedly grilled Mark Zuckerberg, which prompted me to make a post, which a lot of people misunderstood somehow and thought that I had some kind of sympathy for a billionaire, technocratic, soulless cyborg that sold your privacy to the highest bidder. And of course I don't. But in this video, I kind of want to examine this, quote, grilling and highlight that what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is alluding here and calling for here is extremely dangerous and could be more dangerous than what Facebook is doing here. And we're going to do that plus a lot more by an independent media organization that's supported by you, with simple acts like buying t-shirts, like this one that celebrates the opening of the NBA season here in the United States and their hypocritical love of authoritarian governments. Or why not just confuse the ish out of people by wearing a hat that says "Make Taxation Theft Again," which a lot of people have been demanding and now finally is available in our merchandise store, with the link being available directly below in the description of this video. So yeah, if you need a hat or t-shirt, check out the store. Now, as of making this video, the interaction between Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Mark Zuckerberg during the congressional hearing on Facebook's Libra coin is essentially going viral. And it is getting a lot of stream in the mainstream media, with some news organizations even going as far as saying, quote, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez dismantled Mark Zuckerberg and his policy on politicians lying in ads. Now, at first hands, a lot of people's reaction to this, especially on social media, is like, yes, a rookie congressman finally putting that billionaire technocrat in his place, making him squirm, making him feel uncomfortable. But essentially, what Ocasio-Cortez is alluding here and calling for is the complete opposite of the outcome that people think will come out of this, especially in a day and age where free speech is in danger and already is being censored and suppressed on major social media networks. But let's just get right into the video and break it down for you. Cortez starts to question, does Zuck about Cambridge Analytica?
When was the issue discussed with your board member, Peter Thiel?
Congresswoman, I don't know that often.
You don't know. This was the largest data scandal with respect to your company that had catastrophic impacts on the 2016 election. You don't know?
Well, Congresswoman, I'm sure we discussed it after we were aware of what happened.
Yeah, a visibly stunned and uncomfortable Mark Zuckerberg, with even the guy behind him being like, whoa! Now, Peter Thiel is a major Trump ally, but the framing here is very important because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says devastating impact on our elections, which essentially means her team, her gang, the Democrats, lost. So when she says devastating impact, she really is saying that Donald Trump won the presidency.
You announced recently that the official policy of Facebook now allows politicians to pay to spread disinformation.
I don't think Zuckerberg has officially announced that, hey, politicians, pay us and we'll spread your disinformation. I don't think that's officially what Zuckerberg announced here, but look at the framing here. It's very, very important.
In 2020 elections and in the future. So I just want to know how far I can push this in the next year. Under your policy, using census data as well, could I pay to target predominantly Black zip codes and advertise them the incorrect election date?
Here we go. The framing of the whole fake news argument that we've been hearing from the establishment for years and years and years again. But after that very scripted and biased question, of course, Mark Zuckerberg says no.
Congresswoman, you couldn't. We have, even for these policies around the newsworthiness of content that politicians say, and the general principle that I believe that...
But you said you're not going to fact check my ads. There is some threshold where you will fact check political advertisements. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, Congresswoman, yes, for specific things like that.
Yeah. If things are illegal, when things are done that hurt other people or are clear examples of voter suppression, already, Ms. Cortez needs to understand, outside of Facebook, individuals take other individuals to court or other institutions or other businesses. People need to understand, if you do anything illegal, you're liable to be held up in a court of law. And essentially what Cortez is arguing here is that we need more than just the rule of law. We need more than just the First Amendment, the Bill of Rights, free speech. We need another layer of control of speech. Now, the bigger issue discussed here is that Facebook recently announced that they, quote, won't be fact-checking political posts from politicians. They don't want to decide what is true or not, since, of course, in the political sphere, there are many opinions, many arguments, a lot of biases, and it would be extremely difficult to fact-check a lot of the opinionated bullcrap out there in the political circus. And second of all, why should Facebook decide what is truthful or not? Since, again, why do you want to give your power up to Facebook? Why do you want Facebook at the end of the day to say, yes, this speech is acceptable. No, this speech is not. This is the crux of Cortez's argument here. And the reason she's making this argument, because the whole game is rigged. And already Facebook has blocked, censored, deleted many individual posts and other independent media organizations that are just fully suppressed because of previous government officials saying, no, you need to do more about disinformation. You need to do more about fake news. And what did Facebook do? They didn't punish the mainstream media for lying about wars and the economy and bailouts and all this stuff. No. They're promoting them. Right? They're giving the authoritative voices that suck up to the politicians that work hand in hand with them, that scratch each other's backs, the premium, top of the line Anderson Cooper brought to you live on Facebook crap. But independent media that goes against government, goes against politicians, goes against a lot of these mainline, bigger points shoved down your throat, well, of course, they're being suppressed. And now Alexandria Cortez wants this organization that allegedly fact-checked and destroyed independent media to now fact-check politicians. And again, she's doing this because the game is rigged for the establishment, and it's not rigged enough for her. And she even lays on a different layer to this argument that is even more diabolical later on.
I'd be able to run advertisements on Facebook targeting Republicans in primary saying that they voted for the Green New Deal.
In short, could you say something stupid and untrue? Yes, you do that a lot. Most politicians do that. That should be the definition of a politician. Lying and being stupid. Yes, you could do that, Alexandria Cortez. And again, the framing here really bothers me because who gets to decide what is allowed and what is not? An individual should have self-responsibility to decide for themselves. We're not little peon ants that should be told exactly what we can and cannot consume, what we can and cannot read. We're not imbeciles. Sure, there's some imbeciles out there that usually have the loudest voices, politicians like AOC, but we live in a landscape and a world where discussion is key. And if you think I am wrong, you will definitely let me know and we will have a discussion about it on social media. And this is the base of the kind of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez thinking here that I really don't resonate with, and that is the fact that the authorities, the politicians, the establishment always has it right here, and they will decide for you what you can and cannot listen to. And that idea is just repugnant. You can do what you want, you dummy.
Problem here with a complete lack of fact-checking on political advertisements. So you won't take down lies or you will take down lies? I think it's just a pretty simple yes or no.
Why should we have censorship of speech in the first place, you imbecile? If someone wants to spread a lie, they'll be called out for it. They're going to destroy their reputation for it. This is not about the truth. This is about you wanting more power. Just be honest about it, you gosh darn pathetic little criminal. Let's keep this going.
I believe that people should be able to see for themselves what politicians that they may or may not vote for
so
are
you
saying,
won't take them
their
down.
Character for
Gosh, I can't believe I'm agreeing with the cyborg.
Wrong, but you won't take it down.
congresswoman.
He's such a robot.
It depends on the context that it shows up. Organic post,
All
ads.
right.
A little
One
bit different.
more question. In your ongoing dinner parties with far-right figures, some of who advance the conspiracy theory that white supremacy is a hoax, did you discuss?
Who are you? Okay, if you're gonna make an allegation like that, like, hey, you're just partying up with right wing, what? Can we get some details here? Who's she talking about? What incident is she referring to? And does she have any actual proof? Because all we're hearing right now is buzzwords. Buzzwords that trigger people and scare people that the mainstream media fear mongers about. That honestly, for many people, don't have any meaning or power because of how much they are used and abused in the political circus.
Can you explain why you've named the Daily Caller, a publication well documented with ties to white supremacists, as an official fact checker for Facebook?
Whoa, okay, hold on here. I don't like the Daily Caller. I disagree with the Daily Caller on a lot of what they publish. But to automatically label them like a white supremacist news organization because they have a different spin and they believe different political ideas than you is absolutely absurd and shows what little bubble Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is living in when she's naming a news publication that she disagrees with that has a different political view as quote white supremacists. And if you're going to call them white supremacists, show us some evidence. Tell us exactly what you're talking about and actually give us some facts and details surrounding this case instead of just using these blanket terms and destroying the dialogue. Again, these massive generalizations destroy communication. And this is not for communicating and getting down to an actual resolution. This is all a big public puppet show, a weak attempt at dominance of the future enslavement of humanity. Sorry, let's just keep this going here.
Independent fact-checking network that has a rigorous.
Zuckerberg, of course, is doing what he always does. He's like, I'm not responsible. Someone else did it. Come on, Zuck, come on. First of all, stand up to the assertions here. Like, okay, what makes you say this? What evidence do you have? Ask some more questions back because the framing of these questions are absolutely sickening. And it's true. Facebook announced some left-wing organizations and some right-wing organizations to allegedly help them fact-check. All of them were, of course, kind of establishment news publications that were more favorable either to the government in one way or another, to the Democrats or the Republicans. Nothing really outside of the system. But when we look at the larger, quote, fact-checking organizations out there, when we have organizations like Snopes, which Facebook and other major institutions use that are just extremely biased, that attacked us before, when we have Wikipedia, that by the way, banned us from even being mentioned on their platform because we didn't believe in Russian collusion. When the whole Russian collusion narrative came out, we questioned it. And because we questioned it, we got slandered by the mainstream media. Wikipedia took that slander from the mainstream media that was absolutely lies, decided to run with it and said, hey, they are banned, they are not trustworthy, they are fake news because we didn't believe in the Russian collusion hoax, which actually was a complete hoax and came out to be completely a lie, which we've been calling out for years. And this is why Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is grilling Mark Zuckerberg on who he decides to pick as a, quote, terminator of truth. And previously, this was the one case that the Daily Caller was outside of that little circle box of lunacy is, of course, the major target of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because even that small one instant compared to the other huge complete bias on the other side wasn't good enough for her.
You would say that white supremacist tied publications meet a rigorous standard for fact-checking?
What are you talking about? Who? Why? Where? Unless I missed something. I'm sorry, but I don't see the white ethno-state being promoted here. I don't see any KKK members here. Again, I don't like this news organization, but again, the hyperbolic, sensational nonsense that is just being overused is just getting tiresome and just absolutely boring. When we live in a society where people are just out for themselves, just out for power, and they're doing it in a way that is essentially just screaming on the top of their lungs so they get eyeballs, it's a society doomed for failure, which I believe ours is heading. And again, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is a flip-flopper in many different ways, specifically letting go of many of her promises, many of the things she said she was against, like, war, where she actually supported troops moving out of Syria, But when Donald Trump repositioned troops near oil fields, and it was still labeled as moving troops out, even though it wasn't, she struck back and just went a full 180 degrees backwards on her position, criticizing Donald Trump for allegedly moving the troops out of Syria, which again, previously, a couple months ago, she was publicly for, but when it's done, allegedly, she's angry. And that's some bullcrap. Facebook should not be in charge of what the truth is. They should not be empowered to determine what you can and cannot see. You, as a grown, responsible adult, have power and sovereignty within yourself to discern disinformation and fake news for yourself. You know who to trust. You know who has a good reputation and not. You know that speech and more of it will progress us forward. Limiting it, suppressing it, denying it will bring us towards an authoritarian crap hole like the one that we're on the trajectory for. That's my opinion. You disagree with me? Hell, let me freaking know, you son of a gun. And then guess what? I'm not going to call for you being blocked. I'm not going to call. I'm not going to censor. It's okay. It's fine. Jeez. Fucking freaking family-friendly show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.